The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual co-host and do not reflect the official policy or position
nothing's
of
happening.
Firearms Radio Network.
I can hear it.
Employers.
Can you?
Discretion is
I can too.
Very, very small though.
our live shows.
Broadcast for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. This is the Firearms Radio Network. The bandwidth for this episode of This Week in Guns is sponsored by Patriot Patch Company. PatriotPatch.co.
Welcome to This Week in Guns. This show is brought to you by Firearms Radio Network, Patriot Patch Company.
And this show offers commentary on the latest firearms industry news, information, and buzz. I'm your host, Sean Heron. I think one of the Joshes just had a seizure. But let me introduce our panelists tonight. First up, YouTubers from Black Diamond Guns and Gear and Black Diamond Holsters. Please welcome Josh Courtney and Josh Hutchinson. What's up, guys?
Hey, how you doing? What's going on?
Welcome, guys. And to class the place up, we have NRA instructor, firearms enthusiast, Beyond the Unknown on Instagram, contributor to the Gun Collective, and VP at Hold My Guns, Genevieve Jones. What's shaking?
Hey, everybody. Thank you for having me on again. I'm super pumped to be here.
Glad to have you. All right. Before we get into it, let's talk about the Patriot Patch Company. Go to patriotpatch.co. I haven't seen the patch of the month for this month, but I guarantee you like it. If you collect patches, if you like cool shirts and patch walls and just stickers and all kinds of other cool shooting industry swag and some of the funniest stuff out there too, go check them out. patriotpatch.co. Let's get right into the stories. UNCC student died a hero by jumping on shooter and saving lives in the process. This is a person walked into a classroom at UNCC. This just happened the other day and began shooting. One of the students, and I'm going to say his name here, Riley Howell. I'm sorry. Yes, Riley Howell. Wanted to make sure I wasn't reading the wrong name. Jumped on the shooter, tried to stop him, and ended up losing his life as a result of that. One of the positive things here, though, is that, you know, by distracting the shooter, a lot of people to escape, and they were the police were able to get the shooter and do the right thing. So we often talk in self-defense classes and just in the firearms industry about that, you know, run, hide, fight thing, but fight being that last thing there. If you can't run, if you can't hide, if you absolutely have to, you have to fight like the third monkey going on the ark. And I think that's so incredibly important. And that's what Riley did. And he saved people because of it. And he did lose his life. If you do see an active shooter or something and you decide to engage, there's a very good chance that you're going to end up in that same boat. But I think it's so incredibly important to fight because he at least had a chance. He didn't just go lay in the corner and wait for an inevitable outcome. He gave himself a fighting chance. He lost, but other people won because of it. Genevieve, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts?
I mean, honestly, I just think it's such an incredible story. First of all, I want to say that my heart really goes out to his family and friends and everybody who is suffering the loss of that incredible person. I think that all of us train to be able to protect not only ourselves, but everybody around us. And, you know, it's a totally different story when you're actually in the situation. So I just think it's incredible the amount of heroism that gentleman had that day. Yeah.
Josh's?
Man, I mean, everybody wants to talk about what you're going to do in a situation. You know, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, or whatever. Mm-hmm. When it comes down to the wire, you really don't know until it happens. And that guy is seriously a true hero. And the fact that he jumped on that dude when the time was, you know, as critical as it was, man, I think he deserves a little bit of this from everybody.
To me, it's a true act of selfless service. Mm-hmm. Hands down. I mean, what he did for the other students, let them get out of the situation is just absolutely amazing.
Only 2 people were actually dead in that situation, right?
I believe so, yeah. And it could have been so many more. In fact, I mean, we see stuff like this, and generally that count is much higher.
He was one of them, and then there's only one other person, right?
Yeah. I believe that's the case. I didn't look up those stats. Said 4 other students were injured.
Imagine what would have happened if he hadn't have jumped on that guy. He wouldn't have taken that bullet, and he wouldn't have, you know, gave somebody else the chance to run out or whatever. I mean, that's just like a guy diving on the grenade for his platoon or whatever. Same thing.
Yeah. I think about the New Zealand video with the guy kind of trying to run out the hallway and colliding with the dude and thinking, you know, what if he had a warrior mindset? What if he was, you know, had prepared himself to, I'm going to fight and I'm going to fight for my life, instead of just knocking the guy down and then getting, you know, murdered.
Yeah.
What if he would have had that? And what if in this situation more than one person would have jumped on? I think it's so incredibly important to prepare yourself mentally to the best of your ability. Like, we never know how it's actually going to be, but man, Riley, this PBR's to you, buddy, and to his family. I can't even imagine.
Yep.
All right, next story. House committee in Texas passes bill to decriminalize suppressors. And, this is a great thing. This is in support for federal enforcement. Bless you, by the way.
Thank you.
And decriminalize firearm silencers really means nothing. We see there's a court case going to the Supreme Court out of Kansas for kind of the same type thing. And it doesn't really mean anything. But I do believe that Phil Rabelais said last week that when the states kind of start to do this thing, it starts to normalize and eventually, hopefully, influence and possibly change federal law. Josh's, what are you guys' thoughts on this? I'm sure you agree that it's a good thing. Do you think that someday it might change federal law enforcement and maybe get rid of that NFA or at least suppressors?
To me, I definitely hope that it does. I hope that we all want to abolish the NFA, but one step at a time, definitely in the right direction is what is needed. I think that a suppressor should be on the NFA? No, not by any means. But I understand that not everybody should have them. I mean, it shouldn't be something that like every Tom, Dick, or Harry should make in their garage, and not register it, at least as a firearm,
Well, I mean, look at the states that are doing it. Missouri is completely doing away with all gun laws or whatever, federal gun laws. They're saying that none of them are eligible in that state, which is cool. So the more states that we have sign up to do this sort of thing, the more, I guess, they'll look at it and maybe change their mind. Like I don't know if it'll ever happen, but we can only hope.
Genevieve?
I completely agree with everything they said. I think that this is a step in the right direction. To decriminalize suppressors is a great thing, obviously. I think that everybody can agree that gun laws in general are not going to stop people from doing whatever they want to do anyway. So, the more of them that we can get rid of, the better.
Yep, exactly.
100% agree. And I think everyone should make suppressors in their garage, by the way.
Me too.
I was only saying that because,
Didn't mean to call you out. Washington burglar killed by
We
homeowner.
believe in the Second Amendment.
I know you guys do more than anything. Washington burglar killed by homeowner with 911 on the line. And this is another interesting one. Called 911. It was in the middle of the night, and eventually, while on with 911, had to open fire and killed the intruder. And I think this is kind of why we have firearms in our homes and things like that. This person was in their house illegally in the middle of the night. What was their intent? What did they want to do? Who knows? You don't necessarily have to know. They were there illegally. Who cares what their motivations were? I think this is great. Sorry, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Genevieve?
I agree with you there. And I know that some people on the other side of this, the leftists, are going to say, well, why didn't he just wait for the cops to show up? And we all know here that police officers aren't always the fastest at getting to situations, which is why I always carry a gun. And actually, in the NRA personal protection inside the home, it tells you to call the police when you have an intruder situation to, let the cops know that what's going down, so that when they get to your house, you can say, hey, I have a gun, don't shoot me.
Yep. Absolutely. Josh, what do you guys think?
I think that it's awesome, and it is a good thing that it happened, because who knows what that guy's intentions were. But I will say this. We have done force on force classes, and for the most part, one thing you got to understand is like this. He was coming through a window, so this is a little bit different story. But if you have somebody coming through your door that could be your Alzheimer's neighbor, not remembering where his house is and coming through your house. And if you're in that situation, I would say try to talk something down, maybe if that was a certain thing. But he was coming through the window, so that's a little different. But you don't need to see a gun, see a knife, or anything like that to feel threatened. If this guy is coming at you, you don't know what he has or what he may or may not do. So shoot the motherfucker.
threat identification is a huge
Sorry,
issue. I mean, and the bottom line is if you can't identify your threat, then you probably shouldn't be taking that shot, because we all know that every single bullet that you fire has a lawyer attached to it. And it's one of the big reasons that we support second call defense on this show. They were the ones
Great segue.
right? It's almost as if I had planned it. They kind of revolutionized the whole self-defense industry. They were the first ones to pay day one, $1. They get reimbursed by insurance when you're found not guilty, or when they just throw the case out. And that means that they're going to work even harder to make sure that you get through it in the first place. Criminal, civil, everything is covered by them. They have several different levels starting at about $10 a month. So go check them out, firearmsradio.tv/SCD. And, if you have a gun, if you carry a gun, it's a good idea to look into something like that.
So I will say this. I think that it's super rad that he was actually on the phone, because 911 calls are automatically recorded.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no getting around that he was fearing for his life. He probably said, hey, you're in my house, stop, whatever, and they probably kept coming. So everything about it is recorded. That can be, used in court.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
It brings us to the next one. Idaho case illustrates that deadly force doesn't require a suspect to be armed. So this guy goes to his girlfriend's house to pick up some laundry, sees that the clothes aren't sorted, and then to avoid an issue, doesn't go through his girlfriend's laundry, starts to leave the apartment. On the way out, a guy assaults him, forces him to empty his pockets, and then attacks him at some point. No weapon involved, knocks him to the floor, knocks out a tooth, cracks 2 others. Guy draws the firearm and shoots him 5, 6 times, maybe something like that. Quite a big amount. And they offered him a plea deal, a lesser charge if he would plead guilty. And he said, heck no, I insist on a jury trial. The trial took 2 days. The jury deliberated for 90 minutes, and he was found not guilty by reason of self-defense. And I always say this: ability, opportunity, jeopardy, and in some states preclusion. So does the person have the ability to injure you? Are they bigger than you? Are they tougher than you? Did they throw the first punch? All those things apply to that. Opportunity. Did they have the opportunity? Was there the correct distance? Could they have injured you and caused death or serious bodily harm? And were you in jeopardy or fear of your life? One hit has been known to kill people in certain instances. So all those things were there. He did the right thing by taking it to jury trial. And again, this is one of those things the second call defense would have helped with. Don't want to do another ad here, but having that attorney, that saved him here. He did the right thing. Genevieve, I'll start off with you. What are your thoughts on the whole deal here?
Sure. I mean, I think that he reacted appropriately. I can't say that I would have reacted any differently. And Josh actually just mentioned this about 3 minutes ago. You do not need a weapon to be considered a deadly threat, especially if someone is bigger than you or stronger than you and you're taken off guard. I mean, people are more than capable, especially if they're under the influence of something, to kill you with it. Yeah, I do remember reading that he was under the influence of something, and drugs are crazy things, man. Like, they can really just take people to another level. That's pretty terrifying.
Yeah, he was on like meth and some other stuff. Josh's, what do you guys think?
I mean, you gotta think, if this guy was bigger than him, which he may have been or whatever, but if he was bigger than him, he could do a chokehold and literally choke him out and kill him. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to have anything to feel, especially in the state of Tennessee and other states around us that do the same thing. We have the stand your ground law, which basically means come at me, I can shoot you, basically. If you feel threatened in any way whatsoever, you have the reason to fire back. You don't have to do this thing where you go to the last corner of your room or whatever, like most states do, and call 911 and do all this other stuff. You literally shoot if you feel threatened, because that's the way it should be, honestly. Honestly, if this would happen, probably a lot less of this shit would actually happen. And I just applaud him for basically taking the punch and then deciding, like, well, this is what it's come to, basically. I don't think that I would probably be willing to take an ass whooping over basically overshooting somebody, without a doubt. But another thing, you just don't know. Kind of like in a cop situation, you don't know what the guy's got. You don't know if it's a gun or not. So he could pull out a knife at his back pocket. You wouldn't fucking know.
Yeah.
I'm too damn puny to take an ass whooping. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, no, and I'm with you. And I'm like, you don't know. You can't see to the end of the fight and know that you made it out. And I agree. I'm like, look, I am very judicious with my decision to draw a firearm. It's the final option, the lethal option, and I don't want to do it too soon or in the wrong situation. But ultimately, I don't want to take the risk of someone, killing me as well. If I have to choose between possibly dying or them dying, I choose that they're going to die every time.
All day long.
I'd rather be alive in jail than dead. Worst case scenario, both ways.
Well, like you said, this is the best time to have, second call defense or other
Absolutely.
things. We have another.
You can say who it is.
Oh, okay. We have U.S. Law Shield.
Yeah.
We trust them with what we've done our research on and stuff like that, and that's just it's a good thing to have, regardless of which one you go with. Probably better have than to not have anything.
I agree, 100%.
Absolutely.
All right. Next story is going to be Florida Senate passes bill to arm teachers. This is a good thing, in my opinion. Measure was approved 22-17, and it basically says that if a teacher would like to choose to carry, that they will be actually able to and allowed to, as long as they have a mental health evaluation, excuse me, and at least 144 hours of training. I think that's a good thing. Senator Bill Montford, Democrat out of Tallahassee, said teachers already have to serve as social workers and counselors because of society's problems, and that providing armed security shouldn't be their responsibility. And I say if a teacher wants to carry, has the mental aptitude to carry, has the responsibility to carry, and wants to be that first line of defense for the kids, then you damn well should let them. Genevieve, what do you think?
I completely agree with you. I actually had a conversation similar to this with one of my friends who is a teacher. She is also liberal, but she sided on the edge of if somebody wants to carry, then go for it. But she's not going to be one of them, which is fine. I think the fact that they are requiring training is really important too. Just within the couple of years that I was instructing, it's pretty amazing how reckless people are without any type of education because they just don't know. So I think if someone's going to carry in a classroom and be protecting themselves and a bunch of children, they should be trained to do so as well if they want to.
Yeah, 100% agree. Josh's?
I think, what she's saying is exactly right. If you, it's just like anywhere. If you have the will and the want to carry, you should be able to carry regardless. Mm-hmm. And somebody that doesn't, they don't have to. Like, it shouldn't be a you have to kind of thing, or no you can't. Like, it should just be. It's called freedom for a reason.
I think less stupid stuff would actually happen. There would be less school shootings. Thinking that why don't people knock over armored cars all the time? Because they're afraid of getting shot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just that's how it is.
The crazy thing is that we have people that are guarding our money, our jewelry, and everything else.
Why not our kids?
But nobody guarding our kids for some reason. Why is that?
Yeah, and for the people who say, like Senator Bill Montford, who don't want teachers to carry, I'm like, if they don't want to, they don't have to. But if they want to, and a lot of them do, I've instructed tons of force and medical for schools, school districts, homeschool districts, administrators, teachers, everything. They care. A lot of them care. And, we always say, don't go hunting people down. Don't go do this, knowing damn well that they're literally not going to obey that at all. If someone's there to hurt the kids, they're going to go and they're going to handle it, and they should be well prepared if they choose to do that. I think it's great. Governor DeSantis said he'll sign it. It goes to the House next, where it has solid support, and all these things I think are good. I think this is a great step in Florida. I think we need to see more of this all over the United States.
Absolutely.
I think that school teachers should get submachine guns.
I'm fine with it.
Just saying.
CZ USA is moving to Little Rock, and they're bringing $90 million and 500 plus jobs with them. This comes to us from Kark.com, K-A-R-K. I don't know what that is. It's probably some Little Rock thing. But yeah, Arkansas making it very attractive for companies to come in there and bring money and jobs and all those things with them. Having some CZs made here in North America, I think that's a very, very good thing. I think we'll see, more availability and probably some lower prices. But yeah, I'm excited about this. Genevieve, do you have any CZs? Do you like CZs? What do you think about this whole thing?
So I actually did not know very much about them until last year. I started working at a shop part-time that was a CZ dealer, and I came to love them. I typically don't like steel frame pistols at all. I usually have polymer everything, but I mean, they shoot great. The triggers are nice, even double action. So I'm excited for them. I'm stoked to have some CZs being made here because I'm definitely going to get some.
Yeah, me too. Josh's, you guys, CZ guys?
Yeah, sort of. I
mean, I know.
Definitive answer, guys.
I know that everybody thinks we're Glock guys, but I have a P10C, and it's actually an awesome handgun.
I got an M&P 2.0 3.6 inch right here.
Nice.
That's not a CZ.
I know, but what I'm saying is, you said we're Glock guys, and I'm saying
I have a SIG P365, I guess, for showing off.
but
Tell us how you really feel. Jeez.
But CZs are okay, man. We have a CZ P10C, and he has I just got a trigger for that NRAM. What trigger was that?
Continuous precision.
Yeah, it was really freaking awesome, man. They had them for $60 there.
I have a love-hate relationship with CZ. Like, I feel like you either have to be a real big gun buff or a hipster to have a CZ. So.
Right. And last I checked, you didn't have a man bun.
No. I have actually the opposite.
Yeah, you got the Your head looks like a thumb. All right. Yep. Welcome to the USCZ. We're glad to have you. Next story: Trump pulls US out of UN arms trade treaty. So this actually came up. I know we've talked about it on this show a lot. I've talked about it on every single show multiple times, and it was a big concern, thinking that by putting us into this UN arms treaty, that it would have the ability for the UN basically to handle small arms or to have an effect or influence over small arms in the United States. President Trump at the National Rifle Association this year, where we just were in Indianapolis, said that they were going to take back their signature. The UN did not know this, and apparently they are annoyed by it, which is great. We've been compared to Iran and China and others who wouldn't actually sign that. And you know what? Good. This is the United States. We don't bow to the rest of the world. Sorry. I think that this is a great move. I also think this is something he should have done very, very much at the beginning of his presidency, not just using it to try to win back gun people after some of the dumb stuff that he's done. That's my personal opinion. But Josh, I'll start with you. Where do you see this?
Good. I agree. I think that it's a good thing, and I totally think that he should have done it at the beginning. And like you said, I really think that he is trying to win votes right now. He has done a lot of stupid stuff. Sorry, Kenny. Trying to save it for Kenny. But I think that he has done a lot of dumb stuff. And hopefully this will kind of redeem it. Maybe, I don't know. There's no help right now, honestly. In my opinion, I'm not very happy with him. I don't know if anybody else is or isn't, but I'm not. I don't think he's done nearly as much as he said or promised he was going to do to win our votes. I fell for it just like everybody else did. I think
it's at least a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
So whether he is trying to win a vote or not.
Yeah. I'm pretty upset about the bump stock thing, but I think this is a step in the right direction. It doesn't mean that I give my full unwavering support to Trump or think that he's the best thing ever. However, I will say that his Supreme Court nominations could be the best thing for the Second Amendment in my lifetime. Genevieve, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, you guys all pretty much stole my thunder there. Just like everybody else, I pretty much unanimously agree that he should have done this a lot sooner. I think it's great that he's getting rid of at least one of the Obama era initiatives. I think that's really awesome and a step in the right direction. I think if he made, let's make bump stocks legal, then we can talk.
Right. Yeah. Or at least, I mean, let's do that. I agree.
There's just so much he hasn't done, man, that he said he was going to try to do that. It's ridiculous. The fact that we had a Republican in office and also had the House and still never got anything done is beyond me. I don't understand that at all. Yeah. The only thing he's done is basically what every Republican has ever done in office. They have lowered taxes and created jobs. Other than that, what else has he done?
Which are pretty damn good things, if you ask me.
But everybody else has done that. So other than that, what is it?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, there's things that he's done that I agree with, things he's done that I disagree with. Don't love the man, but I think overall, in my opinion, he's doing a reasonable job, especially with the Supreme Court stuff. That's huge to me and could be one of the biggest things that, like I said, has ever happened.
I'm glad I voted for him to not have Hillary, for sure.
I would have voted for a potato over her.
I'm not not hating myself for doing that. Of course, I'm glad I did that to not have her. But other than that, I mean,
CBS covers the growth. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to add to that and say I think he's turning into a little bit more of a politician, which is a little bit disappointing to me, but I'm not displeased with him either. So
Yeah.
step in the right direction.
I think it's like every president. Like I like some things he does. I hate other things he does. Like I hate some of the precedents that he set with executive orders and things like that. But ultimately, like, yeah, I'm fine with it. Although there are some really big things that bug me.
Yeah, I agree.
CBS covers the growth of women's carry wear. Genevieve, I'm going to start with you. This does come to us from CBS News. They talk a lot about Amy Robbins and Pink It and Shrink It and just the kind of rigmarole that women have had to go through trying to find comfortable and convenient ways to carry. Genevieve, let's just talk about that.
Sure.
Is it better now than it has been? What do you think of the concealed carry garments and holsters and options that women have these days?
So is it better than it has been? I'm not sure if I'm the best one to answer that. I am only 24, so I haven't been carrying for that long. But, when I first pulled up that article, I was really nervous to read it, honestly, just because I really hate the whole, we want to get women involved and treat them as equals. But then instead of doing that, they make everything pink and tight and just, appeal to like the 1% of women, which is not everybody out there, certainly isn't me. So, to see that they had said that, I think there was a quote in there from one person who said, my wife saw the Pink It and Shrink It and said, I don't even like the color pink. And it's like, yeah, that's, more than half of us feel that way. So I like the Alexo Athletica stuff. I think it's cool. A lot of women wear yoga pants and whatnot. I think that, I carry, whenever it's not on my body, I carry my Vertex bag. So I like them a lot as well for off-body carry stuff rather than purses. It just seems more sturdy to me, but that's my opinion. I think it's cool they covered it.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting too. Josh, is clearly you guys are the market for this. What do you think?
I wear Deanna Adams apparel all the time. So
oh yeah, under your.
Now that lady was not happy with us when we went to NRAM last year. She was not having what we were trying to sell to her. But other than that, I think she makes some cool things, and I'm glad that CBS has covered this topic. I do think that there's a lot of stuff out there for options of women to carry. Like you said, Vertex bags are amazing. But I agree that having the options to make it to where people can carry on their body versus in a purse or something like that. Because I mean, you think about it, if you're getting robbed or somebody comes up and takes your purse, like that's what it's gone. So. Well,
that's something that women train for. Like it's actually funny you bring that up. I have this argument with people all the time. I am aware that that's a threat, so I don't ever put the bag down when I'm not right next to it. I don't ever wear it unless it's crossbody, so someone can't just snatch it.
Right.
If you're not stupid about it and you do your research, it really isn't a less viable option than carrying on body, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like carrying off body if you have to. Like, it's not a big deal. I think it's cool. Like I said, the options are there, and I think it's good the options are there for that.
Yeah, and I think it's good. They actually did have a concealed carry fashion show at the NRA annual meetings this year. I saw a bunch of pictures. I didn't actually attend, but I think that's kind of good stuff. I personally don't care about fashion at all. Clearly, you guys can all tell.
But I did see where they had Deanna Adams again. She's just one of the bigger people there that does the women's clothing line.
There's not many people doing it, so that might be why too.
Yeah, she was doing a live event where it had a bigger lady, a thick woman, if you will, and it showed where it made stuff that would fit anybody basically, and it actually looked like it was awesome. Like I ain't gonna lie, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, thick is a thing. THICC. It's hot.
Fat, as in pH fat.
Right.
The good fat.
Be careful there, guys. Yeah. I resemble all these remarks. I'm trying not to get it, but
Josh is thick.
Yeah,
he is.
I'm fluffy,
if that's what you want to call it. Charleston church murder. Okay, I gotta wipe the smile off my face from the last one. Charleston church murderer is sentenced to death. Well, I think I am actually happy about this. The person who committed that massacre has been convicted, and he is going to get the death penalty. And I say good riddance. The bad rubbish. Genevieve, any thoughts on this? We don't have to spend a ton of time, but
Yeah, I mean, pretty much agree. You know, the punishment fits the crime, I think, in that situation, and sucks it happened. I'm glad that people are getting justice for it.
Yeah, eye for an eye.
Yeah. Josh, is there anything else to add on that one?
I think there should be more of it, to be honest with you. I think that,
Less people
in a third world country, I mean, if this would have happened, they automatically would have stoned the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kenny.
If you get caught stealing, you lose a hand. Like, that's the way it should be. There should be public hangings, I think, and more people would just be like, oh shit, I don't need to be doing that. I mean,
no, I agree.
Better for all.
I agree. I'm actually going to skip a story and move to this next one, but South Carolina considers death by firing squad, to which I was like, what? So Fox 13 News is reporting this, that South Carolina lawmakers are considering legislation that would add firing squads to the state's existing execution methods. The House Criminal Law Subcommittee on Thursday approved a Senate proposal that also changes South Carolina's default execution method to the electric chair. There's 29 prisoners currently on death row there. The bill has passed the Senate, and if the House Judiciary Committee approves it, it could pass the House before the legislature adjourns. May 9th, their last execution was in May of 2011. Like, I don't know, Josh, where do you guys come down on this?
This is what I think. Why are they sitting on death row collecting freaking food and time and electricity and all this stuff? Take the freaking firing squad. A bullet costs you what? Less than $1?
It depends.
Done
Yeah.
and over.
Yeah.
Why is this not in every state? Why is this not a thing?
Yeah. Genevieve, what are your thoughts here?
I think people would have a really hard time coming to terms with it. Even when I saw it, I was like, whoa, okay, that's out there. You know, I don't know. In the best scenario possible, I really believe that the families who lost somebody should get to decide what happens to that person. I think that would be justice.
Yeah. I mean,
And-
the electric chair is cool. Don't get me wrong. I think that's really cool. The fact that, because it does give them some sort of, torture or whatever you want to say, like to pay back for what they've done for other people. Like, I totally agree with that. And, but yeah, I as far as it's costing the state money and stuff, like, it's just got to cost so much less. I mean, it does.
So there was a part that I actually didn't read because I wanted to save it towards the end. And lawmakers have acted after prison officials told them they don't have the drugs needed for lethal injection and don't know when they'll be able to obtain them. So there was a bleeding heart push to kind of get rid of the drugs that were necessary for lethal injection, to come at it from a different direction instead of trying to do prison reform and things like that, and to actually make those things very difficult to find. So there, for the people who wanted lethal injection to go away and have worked to remove the drugs and chemicals needed to do that, well, there you go. Here's your alternative. I hope you're happy with yourselves. Congratulations, because we're totally down with it.
Yep.
I think these inmates on death row should have to spin a wheel like The Price is Right. Whatever it lands on, that's what you get.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I'm in.
Guess what? Raped to death. Okay. Like,
the Running Man is coming soon.
yeah, dude, that would be awesome. That would be cool.
I just watched that movie again the other night, and I was like, "This is coming. I guarantee." In the next,
Why haven't they remade that movie yet?
well, I don't want that. I want the actual Running Man.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, why haven't they remade that? They're remaking everything else.
You can't remake perfection.
Yeah.
True that.
Seems like I should watch it.
Oh yeah, if you haven't, you have to. It's great.
Man, it's good.
Toronto is willing to pay up to $350 in gun buyback scheme. So comes to us from north of the border, and sure, that's great. They're offering $200 for a long gun, up to $350 for a pistol, and they're just trying to get rid of it. There's a little bit of amnesty unless the firearm was used in a crime, and then an investigation will begin. And it doesn't actually say if the person who turned it in could face charges or not, but I think we all kind of know where that's going to go. The last time they did a gun buyback was in 2008, and the mayor said that over 2,000 guns were handed over at the time. I wonder what they're going to see this time. My guess would be probably
Zero.
less. Yeah, I mean, there's people who inherited something or whatever that'll take it in, but I think the gun people in Canada have had enough. Genevieve, do you think they'll see success with this?
I'm not sure. My initial reaction to this was, well, if I was there, I'm smart. So I'm going to take my old stuff that, might not work the way it used to, and I'm going to get $350 for it and buy something better. So, Right. So, I mean, I think if this is their attempt to get guns out of the hands of people, I think it's a pretty dumb attempt. But I mean, I don't really know. I'm interested to see how it turns out.
Me too.
Yeah, Sean's high point may be worth more than $350.
Well, yeah. I mean, I have some cool ones. That's the truth.
Yes.
So what do I think that Canada will see? A bunch of Sky CPX 1s and 2s.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think you can actually get them there. I think I don't think that you're able to even get those there.
They have really, really strict laws on their gun stuff there. As far as I know, I thought that's what it was. Like, you can't carry a handgun, right? Like, it has to be a rifle, and even then, you have to be like, has to go to a range and stuff.
There is a
part of a gun club or something like that, right?
I don't know. I don't want to go to Canada.
Yeah.
There's a lot of craziness, but there is a thriving gun culture in Canada. It's just different. Like AR pistols and things like that, if I recall correctly, are like way easier for them to have, and they don't have to worry about NFA stamps and things like that. But I mean, it's not great. I'm not going to try to blow smoke and say that, but there's a thriving gun culture. We have a lot of listeners in Canada. There's a lot of gun podcasts coming out of Canada. And they have it there, and I'm sure those people aren't going to be turning stuff in. But
I think they have like 5-round mag capacity.
I don't even know. I don't even want to speculate because I just don't remember.
We don't want to go to Canada.
Yeah, I'm not going to Canada.
I would go to Canada to visit, not to live.
I've been to Canada to visit. It's beautiful up there.
Yeah, I would totally go. Plus hockey, so I'm in.
Right.
My AKs and my safe are beautiful too.
Southern California terror plot stopped by Joint Terrorism Task Force. So this guy, he's a U.S. Army veteran. He wanted revenge for attacks on Muslims around the world, was planning to detonate a bomb at a Long Beach rally. The rally was actually some white nationalist rally that I think it was going to be. So he got in touch with a friend and was trying to get him to see if he knew how to build bombs, but he said he knew a bomb maker. He contacted the FBI and kind of played the original guy up against the FBI. They sold him some inert IEDs, and then once he got back to his car, they actually arrested him. But my question is how much of this stuff actually goes on, and how many of these things do they successfully foil? I know we don't, we hear about them reasonably often, but it is just kind of crazy to think of what might have happened had he been successful in getting a bomb and law enforcement hadn't been involved. Genevieve, what do you think?
I think it's terrifying. Reading that article, the thing that stood out to me the most, now I don't know if I can believe what is in the article word for word or not, but he did say at one point that he chose nails to use as shrapnel in the IED.
Wow.
That there was he picked 3-inch nails specifically to puncture human organs. And I read that, and it just it's just, you hear about this stuff and you can't really imagine somebody being actually that evil. So I think that's why a lot of times we just can't comprehend it. So we're like, oh, that doesn't happen all that much. And if it does, people will stop it and blah, blah, blah. Cause it's incomprehensible what people are capable of. So thank God that didn't happen, because it would have been devastating.
Yeah. Josh's?
Some people just deserve a bullet. I don't understand. Well, first of all, it was a white nationalist thing, right? So,
yeah.
Did they not, why wouldn't they not let that go on? Maybe I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't advocate for white supremacy and all that stuff, but I don't think that that's right either. So I don't know.
I mean, we have freedom to demonstrate, so that's reasonable. As long as they do it and they do it the right way, and they can shout whatever they want from the rooftops. Doesn't make us believe it. Also, don't think they deserve to be blown up for doing it. And that's not just that party. That would be, even someone of a religion that hates America and Americans. Like, sure, you want to demonstrate, that's fine. As long as
they're probably against these Muslims because of said terrorism, but what they're doing is actually terrorism.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how are you okay with one but not the other?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, this was foiled. I'm glad of it. And it just, I want to remind people, get some medical training. It's hugely important. Evil is out there, and it's out there every single day, and law enforcement can't stop them all. The chances are we train with firearms a lot. The chances that we actually have to draw our gun and shoot somebody are minuscule. the chances that we see somebody injured, whether it's from one of these things or just an everyday accident, are pretty huge. So I think getting some medical training would be a wise idea for everyone that hears our voices right now.
Carry a tourniquet.
Yeah.
Got 2 on the desk right here.
There you go.
Hey, I got one in my pocket.
Good. I like it.
I text me a minute to get it out, but I got one, I promise.
Well, I'm dead already now.
Yeah, pretty much. No,
Flat
I mean, yeah. The thing about it is, like, he didn't commit a crime technically, right? So how did they actually arrest him?
Well, he bought IEDs.
Yeah, he bought explosives.
Yeah.
Yeah, what he thought were live IEDs, which are destructive devices, and clearly,
I got it, by the way. It's right here.
oh, there you go, cat drink.
But is that against the law?
Well, he'd been making terroristic threats to.
Oh yeah, it's against the law to own explosives.
Well,
I mean, is it though?
Unless you have
the
the proper manufacturing license.
I mean, that's a different kind of explosive. He bought improvised explosive devices. It's like you would have to be an explosives manufacturer and then have a special occupations tax on top of that to even own them.
Yeah.
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 He didn't do that. Plus terroristic threats. Plus he said he was going to blow up Long Beach Pier. There was a lot of threats, and he's gonna rot in jail.
I mean, good. I mean, I'm just saying. I don't. It's whatever.
Let's move in. I want to pick a few stories that we definitely have to cover. So first, there is a whole lot of drama with the NRA. I'm going to read the headlines and then we'll just briefly discuss it. Wayne LaPierre refuses to step down as the NRA EVP. NRA gives Oliver North the boot after what LaPierre calls an extortion attempt to remove him. LaPierre wrote a letter to the board. Rob Pincus described the LaPierre and Ackerman McQueen leadership failures at the NRA. Wayne LaPierre and other officers unanimously reelected, and the New York Attorney General opens investigation of the NRA. So basically, Oliver North saw some things. He said that if Wayne LaPierre didn't resign, he communicated that Ackerman McQueen was going to release some extremely damaging documentation. LaPierre said that it was blackmail and extortion and refused to get it. And the next day at the members' meeting, they announced that Oliver North had not been re-nominated and would not be returning as president. They read his resignation at the members' meeting Saturday morning. It's a big, huge, drawn out thing. Then they tried to shut it down, but some people on our side said that there needs to be transparency. Josh Prince from Prince Law, you may have recognized that name because that's who Adam Kraut works with, got up there and said, because they tried to shut down the meeting and take it into executive session, Josh ran up there, jumped up there, and read them specifically from their bylaws where it said that they couldn't do that until every member that wanted to be heard from had the opportunity to speak. They eventually caved into that. Some people got up there and spoke. Give a shout out to Ron C. Give a shout out to Adam Kraut. Give a shout out to Rob Pincus. Give a shout out to everyone who, basically just said, look, enough is enough. LaPierre needs to resign and the NRA needs to thrive again. And what it's not doing is not thriving. There's a whole lot of cronyism, whole lot of below the board trading, if you will. And it's just a freaking disaster. Genevieve, did you see any of this? Like,
it's
attention?
It's been sort of a whirlwind, honestly. We were pretty busy at the NRA show, so I did not get to go to the members meeting at all. Hearing some of this and reading about it, I believe that North at one point said that LaPierre made $100,000 of like clothing purchases or something, and then charged it to a 200,000. See, that's even worse. I mean, honestly, it's unbelievable. And with some of the things that the NRA has done with the bump stocks and also taking part in the red flag laws, I'm not very happy with them. And I think that a lot of other people can agree with me on that. And I think that it needs to be changed. And, that happens by replacing the board with different people who aren't corrupt, and I might be getting a tad ahead of myself here, but the fact that they say that LaPierre was unanimously reelected is a little bit suspicious to me. They call for his resignation, then all of a sudden they want him back. I mean, That doesn't make any sense.
So they went into executive session for the NRA board meeting on Monday, which is not open to the public once they go into executive session. You can be there before that and then after that, but they did that. And then, so we were like completely flabbergasted by this. So they go by something that's from the 1870s called Robert's Rules, which are basically parliamentarian procedures that show how to manage boards and things like that. And it's all the procedures specifically of how things should actually work. So what it is in elections, if a person is running without anyone to run against them, they immediately get a unanimous approval, meaning that they don't count the votes, they don't have a ballot vote, they don't do anything. So by Robert's Rules, it was unanimous. What the NRA ILA did when they released that LaPierre had been reelected unanimously is because no one ran against him. And they've actually been trying for years to make it extremely difficult to run against him and having all kinds of qualifications and things in order to do so. So he wasn't elected unanimously by the board of directors. It was just them, playing with these rules and then misleading. They intended 100% to be like, oh, everyone thinks LaPierre is doing a fantastic job. And in fact, it looked like there was going to be someone who was going to run against them. But at the very last minute, everyone who's going to back that person backed away and faded into the background. So again, it's just more cronyism, more crookedness. Josh's, what do you guys think?
I think it's time for change. I mean, hands down. I mean, there is a lot of backdooring with the NRA, like you're saying. A lot of money misspent, and it's time for change.
I think people are tired of it. We talk about it all the time. You talk about it all the time. Everybody talks about it a lot, how, yes, we are tired of the NRA, but unfortunately we need the NRA because they're the only biggest people there to be lobbyists for us, basically. The problem is the people that are in there are just shitty.
Yeah, and I mean, look, Ackerman McQueen is a huge part of the problem, and Wayne LaPierre is responsible for bringing them in. There was a coup in the 90s, I believe, that attempted to wrest power from Wayne LaPierre, and it failed. Neil Knox, I believe, was one of the guys who was working to do that. And after that happened, the NRA invested heavily in Ackerman McQueen. I will also say that now the NRA has filed a lawsuit against Ackerman McQueen saying that they are not providing them with the financials that are required by contract. So, for example, Oliver North is paid by Ackerman McQueen and also paid by the NRA. So you can see that there's so many sticky fingers all over the place here. And I'm not saying anything about Oliver North. I'm just saying that how do you serve one and not serve the other? And so Ackerman McQueen says we've provided everything that they've asked for, but the NRA says that they're not. To add even another wrinkle, the law firm that the NRA is using to sue Ackerman McQueen has approximately been paid $20 to $29 million over the last several months to sue Ackerman McQueen. And is also the son-in-law of one of the Ackerman McQueen executives. And it's just like LaPierre has to go, Ackerman McQueen has to go. And we do need the NRA, but man, the level of just scumminess and shadiness is out of control. LaPierre has to go. He needs to take responsibility for the disaster he's caused. And we need new blood to lead the largest lobbying organization that we have as gun owners.
So the thing is like, they said that he wanted him to resign and then he got reelected. Does that still stand, or is it a possibility that he could resign or whatever?
So Robert's rules are extremely long and complicated. I have been reading through them, but I haven't gotten to a point where I have figured out if that's even an option or anything else. I will say that the board of directors can choose to remove the president the executive vice president of the NRA, which is Wayne LaPierre. Also, to replace Oliver North, they escalated an 80-year-old lady named I don't remember her name, and it doesn't really matter because it's just, she's another one of Wayne LaPierre's lackeys. I will also say that another of LaPierre's lackeys, a person that I personally despise, Willis Lee, he is part of the problem as well. He was escalated to second vice president. And it's just, it is corruptness to the core, and it has to change. And it all starts with Wayne LaPierre and Ackerman McQueen.
Yep. I agree. If I can add one more thing, if you go to Rob Pincus's Instagram, he actually has a video up there of John Cushman basically telling people that we couldn't handle the truth, even if they were to tell us the truth. Sorry,
go ahead.
Just, that's appalling to me because you're doing two things there. You're essentially admitting that we are not being told the truth and that something is being hidden from us. And then you're also accusing us of not being able to deal with whatever that is either. But, I think it was a statement made out of fear on his part.
There's also a video up on somebody's Instagram about Rob Pincus actually going off on his whole tangent too.
Uh-huh.
I can't remember whose that's on though.
I think that's on Pincus's as well.
Yeah. I think I saw it on Military Arms Channel, I think.
Oh, okay.
But the bottom line is, at the members meeting, guys, we were severely underrepresented. We need to get back into it. We need to make it matter and make it there. I was not there. I can guarantee you I will not miss another one, and I will bring as many people as I can with me, as many people as hear my voice. And to the people on the anti-gun side who see the NRA, having a little bit of drama and, us trying to clean house to the best of our abilities, don't get giddy. Don't start dancing or anything else out there, because look, the NRA exists. The NRA is our lobbying organization. But the NRA is nothing without its members, and we are over 5 million strong. So even if the NRA does collapse, even if the New York Attorney General does find something and figure out a way to shut down their nonprofit status, the other 5 million of us, we're out here. We won't stop. We'll never stop fighting. We will always be here, and we will never make it easy for you who wish to take away our right to self-defense.
Also, people that are giving to the NRA, think about other organizations to give to. GOAs is a good thing to have also. I mean, even though they're not the big lobbying firm like the NRA is, they're still good to have.
Yep.
Agreed.
All right. Let's see. 1 dead, 3 wounded in California synagogue shooting. This comes to us. And actually, they're asking about alternatives. But I mean, look, GOA, Second Amendment Foundation, Firearms Policy Coalition, they're reasonable. I think that, I think if you want to donate money, I don't think you can go wrong donating to them at this point. I haven't seen evidence that they are crooked criminals or corrupt at this point. So yeah, those are some. But I'll tell you where you really need to get involved is locally. Like, find your advocacy group that's local to you and get involved there, because we can all get online and complain about things. But if we start, turning people's thoughts and kind of telling them what's important to us at a local stage, then we can definitely help pull that over to a national stage later.
Yep.
Well said.
California student shooter was 19, wrote an anti-Semitic manifesto, claimed he was inspired by the Christchurch mosque massacre before he opened fire at a Passover service, killing 1 woman and injuring 3 others. Here's the thing. He saw this thing in New Zealand. He saw the effect that it had on New Zealand, where they said, okay, well, we're going to ban all guns after this happened. And I said on this show that they gave that person in New Zealand, that monster in New Zealand, more power than anyone else in New Zealand has. They made him the most powerful man in their entire country. And this is exactly what it was. This person, he saw that. He said, I want to do that in the United States. He wants them to take firearms away in the United States. He clearly says that in his manifesto. He clearly calls out the person in New Zealand for what it was. And bottom line, that's what he wanted. He won't get that in the United States. There will be some politicians who knee-jerk react and don't have any critical thought in their head that may do that. But bottom line, he went in. It looks like they're saying, I've seen reports both ways, that his firearm may have jammed. But there was also a Border Patrol agent pulling security at the what's it called, the synagogue, and exchanged fire with the shooter as the shooter ran away, and looks like having an armed man on scene was a good thing. Genevieve, what do you think?
Obviously, another terrible tragedy that happened. It's always awful when somebody loses their life that is a totally innocent person. You keep stealing my thunder tonight, really. I was gonna say the same thing about the whole New Zealand thing, and I had this conversation with John recently about how the media almost gives too much power to these shooters, which is essentially exactly what you said, but they almost make these people famous in a way, and there's a whole argument that if we stopped highlighting them on the media so much, that it would stop inspiring these kids to go out and do terrible things like this. And, you don't know if that's true or false, but why don't we talk about all the times that people have been stopped? Like we've talked about it on this show. A bunch of people have been stopped by armed civilians, police officers, guards, Border Patrol agents, but we never hear about that. We only ever hear about the negative stuff, and the negative stuff is it seems like is inspiring people to do more of it. And, that needs to change.
Yeah, I agree. Josh's?
I think we need more heroism in media. That's exactly what you're saying. Is because and I hate to say this, but I mean that's what media is. Is it's all about putting these tragedies out because that's what I hate to say that is that's what people want to hear.
Yeah.
But what most of us want to hear is heroism.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that.
Well, this is the other thing I'm thinking about too. So, where did this happen at again?
California.
California, yeah.
Where is all these freaking gun laws that are freaking retarded?
A lot of places, but California is definitely one of them.
California is one of the main ones, and yet somehow everybody always seems to skip over that. I don't understand why people think that doing anything other than what is already there, and even if that is, who knows if that's even right. But anyway, doing more for it is not going to stop it all. It's just not. It's doesn't. People are criminals for a reason. They don't give a shit about a law, and that's the point.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kenny.
Because nobody does cocaine or meth or any of those other illegal drugs, right? Because that worked.
Sorry, Kenny.
Yeah. And so there were tips. The person posted on 8chan, posted a link to the Facebook page and wanted a playlist, was planning to live stream it, all that stuff. And just, man, yeah. This is exactly what happens when you give these pieces of garbage power.
So he basically was 100% ripping off the New Zealand.
He was
thing.
basically going to copy that guy and do exactly what this guy was going to do.
Yeah. And he specifically says in his manifesto that he wanted to do it so that they'll start collecting guns, I think was the term that he used.
Did he name a YouTube channel in his manifesto as well?
No, I don't believe so.
That's crazy, man.
But subscribe to PewDiePie.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough about that guy. And again, let's say the hero's name, Riley Howell. That was from UNCC, the story we started the night with. Fought and lost, but fought nonetheless.
Yep.
I want to do one last story, just because we clearly had some stories that took a lot of talking. But Hudson, you remember Hudson Firearms, assigned a $0 value to warranty guns, says that they're a pile of parts. So in their bankruptcy proceedings, they said that they had torn them down. They showed 79 articles with a $0 value. And Cy Hudson said, yes, I don't know how much detail you want me to go into of our standard operating procedure, but since this was our first production run, we wanted to completely evaluate all possible problems and fix all possible problems. So they're broken down, inspected, and put in queue after inventory to build back up and send out. They then said, so this is a complete disassembly of the firearm. Cy Hudson responds, says yes. They say, so this makes the guns nearly impossible for even an experienced gunsmith to reassemble. He said it's not possible. He said it's not impossible. However, if they do it wrong, they could possibly injure someone and create liability. So if you have sent your Hudson firearm in to Hudson for repair, for warranty, and lots of people did, well, I guess 79 people did, it's a pile of parts. It's gone forever, and they have stolen your money.
I'm going to go on record and say that's bullshit.
Yeah, it is. It's really bad. Like really bad. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what to say.
Sorry, Kenny.
I think they just don't want to fix them because they're broke. And they're just trying to make up a really good reason for not giving people their money back. I think I'd be mad. I mean, those things are like around $1,000.
Yeah. The trustee then asked if the company complied with customer requests for the part to be returned. Cy Hudson says, I did not believe so. Since we didn't have the correct part to fix the pistol, that's the only reason it wouldn't have left our facility. It would have opened another type of liability to the company, and we were working hard not to do that. And man,
glad I never bought a Hudson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sad that we ever gave them any publicity because I thought they were decent people, talked to them many, many times. But the more I read, the more I see the awful people.
It's 79 people, right? I mean, how much money would that actually be to just give those people their money back?
Well, they're declaring bankruptcy for $11.6 million.
Okay.
Still, though, it's not our fault that they went broke. It's not the people's fault that bought those guns. It's not fair.
Imagine if people do anything else as far as in the gun world and they start up another company. You think anybody is going to be like...
Not a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
No. And again, I did just say awful people, and I don't truly think that, but the fact that this has happened and that they're not even returning the warranty stuff, it makes me incredibly angry. And the fact that these people are never even going to get a pile of parts back, it just makes me, want to scream in their face.
Are they at least sending them the stuff back? Is that what you're saying?
Nothing.
No.
They get nothing.
Wow.
It's like Willy Wonka. You get nothing.
That is really, really crappy, man.
So Hudson Firearms is the everlasting gobstopper.
Damn you, Hogsworth or whatever the hell his name was.
Slugworth or
Yeah, that's
I don't remember.
Hogsworth. Yeah.
Did you like watch that movie before we started, Sean?
No, but I have watched it probably 100 times in my life. I don't know.
Oh, Hogsworth over here.
Oh man. All right. You know what? That's going to do it for all the stories that we have tonight. This was a really good discussion. I really appreciate you guys being here. Don't forget to check out our advertisers, Patriot Patch Company, and also Second Call Defense, firearmsradio.tv/SCD. Before we do anything else and before we go, I want to give you guys a chance to kind of talk about what you've been up to, where people can find you, and all the cool stuff that you do. Genevieve, I'll start off with you.
Sure. So really recently, actually, at the NRA show on Sunday, John and I from the Gun Collective, we did our annual panel at the NRA, which it went really well. It was a lot of fun. It was a ton of work. I have never been an event planner, and that type of stuff just makes me want to pull my hair out every single year. But it really turned out. So we were happy to have a great group of people there, and the fans who participated. We thank all of you. If any of you are out there listening that were there, thank you very much. So that has been fun. You can find me on Beyond the Unknown. I've been doing a lot of work with mental health advocacy and stuff like that. So I'm excited for the future.
I love it. And that panel was so awesome. Thank you so much for including us. And
oh, absolutely.
Genevieve, you did a great job organizing that. Like, that was the smoothest one. So this was my 4th panel.
Yep.
And it was by far the smoothest and it, in my opinion, by far the best.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And we always love having you there. So, get ready for next year.
All right, I will. I know what my job is, and my job is to crack jokes the whole time.
Yep.
They can find you Beyond the Unknown on Instagram. And what's Hold My Guns?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So Hold My Guns, one of my dear friends, Sarah, is the founder of this organization, and I'm helping her out with it. Basically, the idea to this is it's an alternative for people who are going through a personal crisis, who don't necessarily want to have the firearm in their house, but don't also want to go through the government, through police. They don't want to have to deal with red flag laws. Red flag laws in general are a really extreme reaction to a problem. So we're trying to find a middle ground by working with existing FFLs to allow people to take their guns and have the FFL hold on to them for a certain amount of time, which you can legally do through gunsmithing laws as of right now. That could change in the future, but we're working towards this goal to give people an option who want to be self-governing and responsible gun owners and don't want to have their rights taken away from them.
Yeah, I think this idea is pretty damn good. And
thank you.
Can't wait to learn more about it.
Absolutely. Can't wait to share it with you.
Awesome. Josh's. Tell us.
All right, guys. We are on Black Diamond Guns and Gear YouTube. We're basically a YouTube channel. That's pretty much all we've been up to. We went to the panel. We weren't on the panel, but we did go to the panel, and it was a great time. We loved it. We liked going to the panel and hanging out with everybody. NRA is not just. It's basically for us to go and have fun and to hang out with the guys that we only get to see, a couple times a year. So that's
and gals.
Yeah. And girls. Yeah. Guys in general, but anyway, but just, for the couple times a year that we get to see each other, hang out with our friends, that's why we like to go. But other than that, you can catch us every Tuesday. 7/6 Tuesday is the videos that we put up. It's just Instagram, Black Diamond Guns and Gear. We're all over the place. We're all over here.
You can also find us on joshonly.com.
You can find our merchandise on Revolutionary Patriot. And and actually we got Blue Alpha Gear printing some hats.
Nice.
Cars going by. I'm pretty excited about that. Hopefully we're going to have it all in one area, but yeah, pretty cool.
Very cool, guys. Good job. Keep up the great work. And hey, if you're out there listening, definitely check out the advertisers. Definitely leave us a review in iTunes, Facebook, wherever it happens to be. And don't forget that this show would not happen without the great work of our producer, Kenny Ortega. But This Week in Guns is produced by Kenny Ortega, and it's a production of the Firearms Radio Network. We'll
Sorry,
see you
Kenny. I just knocked Josh out.
You guys are awful dancers.
Well,